A movie about golfers and a dancing gopher. That's what people thought when Caddyshack hit theaters in 1980. Critics dismissed it. One of the writers fell off a cliff in Hawaii a month later. The lead actor showed up for 6 days. The gopher and he never filmed together. The final explosion was so massive that pilots reported a plane crash. Caddyshack became one of the most quoted films of all time. Not because anyone knew what they were doing, because nobody had control for a single second. And that's what made it immortal. 16 facts. Stay until the end. The man who co-wrote this film. And why his story is the darkest punchline in the whole movie. Fact 1. The first pitch was a Nazi film. The second was a Marxist Western. Caddyshack almost never became a golf movie. Ramis and co-writer Douglas Kenney's first idea, a satire about the KKK march through Skokie, Illinois. Orion Pictures passed, bomb threats too likely. Second pitch, a revisionist Marxist Western, also rejected. Third pitch, Animal House on a golf course, immediate green light. Budget, $6 million. Ramis later called it a $6 million film school scholarship. Fact 2. Bill Murray was on set for 6 days. His character wasn't in the script at all. Murray was still shooting Saturday Night Live and had almost no time. Ramis never knew when he'd show up. The original screenplay, 200 pages, described by a producer as looking like the Bible, did not contain the name Carl Spackler once. Murray arrived, looked around, and invented a character. Every scene, improvised. Every line, made up. 6 days. That was enough. Fact 3. The Cinderella speech. 2 lines of stage direction. The rest came from nowhere. Ramis asked Murray whether he could imagine announcing himself at a golf tournament. Murray asked for 4 rows of chrysanthemums. Then he started talking. No script, no rehearsal. Just a man with a lawnmower and a sense of what triumph feels like. The Cinderella speech is one of the most quoted scenes in film history. Created in a single afternoon. Fact 4. Rodney Dangerfield didn't know what action meant. Dangerfield had almost no film experience. First scene. Ramis called action. Nothing happened. Dangerfield just stood there. Ramis explained it. Action again. Nothing again. From that moment, Ramis never called action for Dangerfield. He said instead, "Rodney, do your bit. Every scene. Every time." Dangerfield improvised anyway, and ended up stealing the show. Fact 5. The Gopher was built by the team that made Star Wars. John Dykstra, Oscar winner, responsible for the space battles in Star Wars, was hired to build the animatronic Gopher. The original plan was a real trained animal. In practice, a disaster. Dykstra built a hydraulic puppet with moving ears and underground tunnels instead. The sounds the Gopher makes are original dolphin audio from the 1960s TV series Flipper. Dolphin sounds, for a gopher. Nobody ever asked why. Fact 6. Murray and the Gopher never filmed at the same time. Dykstra shot the Gopher separately after principal photography wrapped, then cut it in. Murray was literally chasing nothing. In the one shot where they appear together, the production used a cheap mink fur hand puppet. That same puppet appears in the scene where Dangerfield shouts, "Hey, that kangaroo stole my ball!" Nobody noticed at the time. So far, a film that almost got made about Nazis, a lead actor who showed up for 6 days, and a Gopher that was never really there. From here, the production itself becomes the story. Fact 7. The first cut ran 4.5 hours, and it was a mess. The script was 200 pages. The first cut was incoherent. Multiple editors tried to save it. Nobody found a through line. Solution: add more Gopher scenes. That cost an extra $500,000 and required Dykstra's entire post-production team. Without that last desperate move, there would be no Caddyshack as we know it. The Gopher saved the film. Fact 8. Cocaine was the official production fuel. Supporting actor Peter Burkrot described cocaine as the fuel that kept the film running. Nightly golf cart races, parties until dawn. Ramis stayed sober through most of the shoot. The studio only paid attention when the Blues Brothers was filming simultaneously. Belushi's binges were driving that budget up, and Warner Brothers started looking at both sets. Fact 9. A hurricane hit the set. The crew threw a party. Hurricane David, Category 2, struck Florida mid-production. Multiple shooting days lost. Hotel floor covered in earthworms afterward. The crew's response? A party. For a cast from Chicago and New York, a Category 2 storm was just another reason to stay up all night. It set the tone for everything that followed. Fact 10. The finale explosion was reported as a plane crash. The real country club refused to have its actual fairway blown up. Dijkstra's team built an artificial hill instead. The pyrotechnics subcontractor used far too many explosives. The blast was so large that pilots flying nearby reported a possible crash site. Air traffic control was alerted. Fire crews responded. The hill no longer existed afterward. The scene is 3 seconds long in the finished film. Fact 11. Chase and Murray had exactly one scene together. It wasn't planned. Murray had replaced Chase on Saturday Night Live. Bad Blood. The only scene where both appear, Carl visiting Ty at his shack, was added late because someone noticed the two lead actors had no shared screen time. Fully improvised. No script. The scene reportedly ended their feud. It's now one of the most beloved in the entire film. Fact 12. The film is set in Nebraska. Shot in Florida. The grass was spray-painted blue. Rolling Hills Country Club in Davie, Florida, chosen because it was the only course in the state without palm trees. To pass for the Midwest anyway, the crew spray-painted the tropical grass blue so it would read as Midwestern turf on camera. A complete second floor was built for the clubhouse that doesn't exist in real life. It still doesn't. Fact 13. The candy bar in the pool is called Baby Rut. The H is missing on purpose, left out deliberately, to avoid product placement fees and potential lawsuits. The scene was pulled from a real incident the Murray brothers experienced as caddies at Indian Hill Country Club in Chicago. Brian Doyle Murray wrote it from memory. His brother Bill performed it. Don Rickles was almost Dangerfield's character and would never have been part of any of this. Fact 14. Don Rickles was the first choice for Al Chervik. Dangerfield got the role through Johnny Carson. Before Dangerfield was cast, Rickles was the frontrunner. Dangerfield got the part through his appearances on The Tonight Show. First real leading film role, and he stole the show from 3 of the biggest names in American comedy. Ramos later said he saw Dangerfield as the film's Groucho Marx. Chase was Chico. Murray was Harpo. None of them knew that. Fact 15. In Denmark, the film was called An Assload of Cash. Roven Fulde Peng, the official Danish title. Sweden, Tom I Bolin, Empty in the Ball, meaning brainless. Japan, Baruzu Baruzu, balls balls. Denmark was the only country outside the US where Caddyshack was a hit on opening, because the distributor cut 20 minutes and recut it as a Bill Murray solo film. The Danes knew what they wanted. Fact 16. Douglas Kenney co-wrote this film. A month after it opened, he fell off a cliff. Co-writer and co-producer Douglas Kenney, co-founder of National Lampoon, co-writer of Animal House, fell into a deep depression after the film opened to poor reviews despite solid box office numbers. He traveled to Hawaii with Chevy Chase. Chase left early for a work commitment. Kenney stayed alone. On August 27, 1980, he fell from a 35-foot cliff on Kauai. He was 33. Chase was on his way back to him when the call came through. Chase later said, "He was the funniest thing I ever saw. He just couldn't believe in himself." A film that almost got made about Nazis. Shot by a crew that partied through a hurricane. Saved by a gopher nobody had planned for. Caddyshack got bad reviews. Then it ran on TV. Then again. And again. Today it gets quoted line for line by people who weren't born the first time it aired. The man who wrote it never got to see that.